Now, moving on to science and technology from the month of August, Russia to withdraw from International Space Station. Now, Russia has announced that it will quit the ISS after 2024. Now, International Space Station is a space station located in the low Earth orbit. It is a joint project between five space agencies, that is NASA of United States, Roscosmos of Russia, JAXA of Japan, ESA of Europe, and CSA of Canada. Now, ISS has been in orbit around Earth since 1998 and has been used to conduct thousands of scientific experiments. It is approved to operate until 2024, but the US wants to extend that for 6 more years until 2030. Now, Russia has decided to quit ISS as relations have soared since the Ukraine war. Now, impact of Russia leaving ISS. ISS is designed in a way that makes the partners dependent on each other. For instance, US provides the power, Russia provides the propulsion and keeps the platform from falling to Earth. If that propulsive capability is withdrawn, the US and its other partners will need to devise other means of periodically boosting the stations higher in the sky. Now, moving on to low temperature thermal desalination and OTEC. Now, the National Institute of Ocean Technology under the Ministry of Earth Sciences have developed and demonstrated low temperature thermal desalination technology in Lakshadweep Islands. Now, it is a desalination technique removing salt from the seawater for converting seawater to potable water. It works on the principle that ocean water at a depth of 1000 to 2000 feet is about 6 to 8 degrees cooler than the surface water. Salty surface water is collected in a tank and is subject to high pressure via an external power source. This pressurized water vaporizes and is trapped in tubes or chamber. Now, cold water pumped from the ocean depth is passed over these tubes and the vapor condenses into fresh water, and the result is salt is diverted away. Now, advantages of LTTT technique is that the LTTT technology does not require any chemical pre and post treatment of the seawater, and thus the concerns related to pollutions are minimal. It is suitable for island territories. Since no effluent treatment is required, the process requires less operational maintenance compared to other desalination processes. Moving on to ocean thermal energy conversion, OTEC, the National Institute of Ocean Technology is establishing an ocean thermal energy conversion plant with a capacity of 65 kilowatt in Kavaratti, Lakshadweep. Now, ocean thermal energy conversion is a process for producing energy by harnessing the temperature difference, that is, the temperature gradients between ocean surface water and deep ocean waters, especially in tropical regions. Surface water is much more warmer than deep water because of the solar radiation. The temperature difference can be used to produce electricity and desalinate the ocean water. Now, OTC system uses a temperature difference of at least 77 degree Fahrenheit to power a turbine to produce electricity. Now, working of the OTC plant, warm surface water is pumped through an evaporator containing a working fluid. The vaporized fluid drives a turbine generator. The vaporized fluid is turned back to liquid in a condenser cooled with cold ocean water pumped from deeper into the earth. Now, OTEC systems use seawater as the working fluid and can use condensed water to produce desalinated water as well. Now, advantages of OTEC is that it produces clean, environment-friendly, renewable energy. OTEC can produce energy at all times, unlike solar and wind plants, which are dependent at external conditions. Now, disadvantage of OTEC is that it is economically expensive and it works in a few regions of the world, as the required temperature difference is only present in the tropical waters. Now, moving on to Internet in India, an IAMAI report. Now, the Internet and Mobile Association of India has released the report Internet in India. The key findings of the report relates to active internet users, online transactions, top activities, state-wise distribution, and not adopted internet yet. Now, regarding active internet users in India, at present there are total of 692 million active users in India, 351 from rural and 341 from urban. The number is expected to rise to 900 million by 2025. Around 346 million Indians are engaged in online transactions, including e-commerce and digital payments. This was largely driven by the COVID-19 pandemic, which sparked a 51% increase in the digital transactions in the last 2 years. Now, top activities: use of social media, entertainment, and communications are the top three activities in which internet users are engaged across India. In terms of state, Goa has the maximum internet penetration while Bihar has the lowest. Now, around 762 million Indians have not adopted the internet yet, including 63% from rural pockets of the country. Difficulty to understand the internet continues to be the primary deterrent, along with lack of awareness, especially in rural India. Moving on to AlphaFold, DeepMind, which is a company owned by Google, has announced that it has predicted the three-dimensional structure of more than 200 million proteins using AI-based tool AlphaFold. Now, AlphaFold is an AI-based protein structure prediction tool. It is based on computer system called deep neural network. It processes it uses processes based on training, learning, retraining, and relearning. By using this method, AlphaFold has now predicted the structure of the entire 214 million unique protein sequences deposited in the unique Universal Protein Resource database. Now, proteins carry out all the functions inside a living cell. Therefore, knowing protein structure and function is essential to understanding human diseases. Scientists predict protein structures using X ray, crystallography, nuclear magnetic resonance spectrography, or cryogenic electron microscopy. These techniques are time consuming, often take years, and are based mainly on trial and error methods. Therefore, the development of AlphaFold is a watershed movement in science and structural biology in particular. Now, AlphaFold is neither flawless nor the only AI based protein structure prediction tool. Now, Rose TTA Fold was developed by University of Washington in Seattle in US, which is another tool, although less accurate than AlphaFold. It can predict the structures of protein complexes. Moving on to India's 75th year of scientific advancements. India scientists have achieved a lot in the 75 years since independence. About India's 75 years of scientific advancements, since 1947, country has emerged as a global player in power, in space technology, nuclear power, and many other fields. India's probe to the moon, Mars, nuclear weapons, strategic missile systems are praiseworthy achievements. Along with that, India has also achieved self sufficiency in food grains, medicines, and vaccines, exemplary development in communication and information technology. Regarding innovation, in the latest Global Innovation Index of 2021, India ranked 46 among 132 countries. India overperformed on innovation relative to its level of development for 11th year in a row. Jugaad. Agriculture in 2021-22, India's farm export touched a record 50 billion US dollars. India is among the 15 leading exporters of agricultural products. Now, pharmacy of the world, India's firms supply affordable drugs and vaccines to developing and developed countries. India successfully India's successful vaccination drives against smallpox, polio, COVID, besides ongoing mission Indradhanush, are prime examples of India's trust in modern sciences. Now, IT industry and telecom revolution, service firms in India are targeting record $350 billion of exports in the current financial year, up by 37% year on year despite the global slowdown. Now, factors behind India's success are the Planning Commission, the Scientific Policy Resolution of 1958, Green Revolution, IT and Telecom Policy. Regarding the Planning Commission, it was set up in 1950 and was the first plan draft present in July 1951, included a chapter on scientific and industrial research. The chapter recognized 11 research institutes at the national level in a bid to lay the foundations of scientific research in the country. Now, Scientific Policy Resolution of 1958, and it is India's first major science policy. Regarding Green Revolution, it was based on 1958 policy. It was achieved through research on high-yielding wheat, rice varieties, fertilizers, advanced farming techniques. Now, IT and telecom policy, India allowed domestic software firms to become globally competitive in 1990s. This is the foundation of Digital India and associated socio-economic development. Now, further steps recommended are invest in R&D. According to a study by Niti Aayog and the Institute of Competitiveness India, has among the lowest research and development expenditures. Its R&D spending has decreased from the 0.8% of GDP in 2008-9 to 0.7% in 2017-18. Hence, India needs further investment and technological developments to fulfill its mission. Moving on to monkeypox, public health emergency declared by WHO. Now, the WHO has declared monkeypox as a public health emergency of international concern. Monkeypox belongs to the orthopox virus, which is a genus of viruses that also include varrola virus, which causes smallpox. It is enveloped in double stranded DNA virus, unlike RNA virus. This makes it far more stable and less prone to rapid mutations. There are two distinct genetic clades of monkeypox virus: the Central African, that is the Congo Basin clade, and the West African clade. The Congo Basin clade has historically caused more severe disease and was thought to be more transmissible. Now, vaccines against monkeypox. There is no dedicated monkeypox vaccine. Vaccines against smallpox were found to be 85% effective in preventing smallpox, a disease eradicated in 1980. In 2019, the United States Food and Drug Administration, that is FDA, approved the Jynneos vaccine, JYNNEOS vaccine for the prevention of smallpox, monkeypox, and other disease caused by orthopox virus in adults 18 years of age and older and categorized as having a high risk of infection. Now, JYNNEOS vaccine contains a live vaccina virus which does not replicate efficiently in human cells. The vaccinia virus is a smallpox virus but is made incapable of replicating within the body. It is administered as two injections 28 days apart. The immune response takes 14 days after the second dose. Now, moving on to public health emergency of international concern, it is the WHO's highest alert level. It is part of international health regulations, which have been the governing framework for global health security since 2007. Now, the definition: WHO defines public health emergency and international concern as an extraordinary event which is determined to constitute a public health risk to other states through international spread of disease, potentially requires a coordinated international response. The WHO reserves the designation for only those diseases that need a coordinated international response to prevent them from potentially escalating into a pandemic. That will be it.